we've reached painting. This is the stage that I enjoy the most. It's also the stage that takes the most time. I mean, even from the beginning, it's a good idea to figure out why you're doing this. Is it just to play the game? Then maybe you just push fit everything together. You don't really do anything about the bases. You paint them as easily as you can, and you start gaming. If you're going the other direction, it'll take a lot of time. Whatever path you choose, now you have to decide on how am I going to paint them? What colors are they going to be? The easiest path to choose is to go with the Games Workshop sort of, this is the way these guys are supposed to look. And if you do that, they pretty much got specific tutorials for, so many of their models. What colors to use, what order to paint them, it's awesome. They also have their painting app. For one thing, if you want to paint a model exactly the way it was intended to, you get specific instructions, but you can also see how different colors end up. Like if you go, I want my Nighthaunt to be pink and orange, then you can scroll through all the different models and find pink and orange and figure out what paints you need. Another thing I like is to look outside the world of Games Workshop and check out other manufacturers of paint. Also different kinds of models, like check out how someone paints their World War II German soldier and what colors they've been using. In the end, which you will see, I mainly use Vallejo colors and not Games Workshop colors. One reason being I had some bottles of Vallejo color from before for different other things that I've been dabbling at, mainly because I really, really like the bottles. They have this drippy little, you turn them upside down and you can drip out drips of paint, instead of just opening a lid and trying to fish it out there with a toothpick or something. I've ended up painting my models with colors I like, getting them to look the way I want them to look, not necessarily the way they were intended. To get there, what's the best way to do it? Well, I don't know. But I started out actually using Photoshop. You could try, if you know Photoshop, it's really easy. You could try using free versions of similar type of programs. I'm not going to get into sort of a tutorial of how to do that. You can look that up better online. But I just tried different colors on a photograph I took from Games Workshop website. And I figured out I wanted mine to be, I think initially it was orange and blue, my Stormcast. After that, I test painted some models, one model, and I realized that I didn't want orange anymore, and ended up with sort of painting another one that was more sort of red and blue and golden. Now, just to cover the bases of painting, like if you've never painted a model before, I just want to go through it. Usually you paint a model first with like a base layer. You cover the gray plastic with a paint. And that can really depend on what the next paint is going to be. Like if you paint your entire model with a base layer that is black, it's going to be really difficult to paint white on top of that, because you'll see through the white and you'll see the black beneath it. And then there's more to that. Like when I tried to paint mine orange and it was black from the start, I realized I had to do it sort of brown and then red and then orange to get the orange. Like it was difficult. And I'm not sponsored or anything. I just like the Games Workshop Paint app, because then if you find a color you want in the end of your model, you can see all the different steps you need all the way. So it's a great idea, because this is difficult to figure out if you haven't done it before. Like I made a lot of mistakes doing mine. But usually after the base layer, when you paint a layer, like this is going to be blue, this is going to be green. You paint all the bits and pieces. And traditionally after that, you use a wash. I'm going to go through these things to explain them a little bit better. I just want to roughly touch the subject. And after the wash, you usually use like some way of highlighting the bits, highlights. There's also other things to the painting. One is the brushes. I myself is sort of surprised at the amount of brushes that I go through. Nice brush is great, and then you use it for a while and you wear it out and it's crap. So prepare yourself for using a lot of brushes. Another thing that's going to be the next movie is something called the wet palette, which is great when using these paints. And, check that one out.